Welcome to Cal State Fullerton, even though we're not officially there, and welcome to English major orientation. Are there any of you that are, hold on one second. I gotta stop sharing to let someone in. It's hard to share, let people in when I'm on the share screen thing. All right. Are any of you comp lit majors? Just as a quick question, or are you all English majors? Any comp lit majors? If you, I can't see you all right now when I share my screen, so if you could put a message in the chat, that would be great. Ethan, you're English, okay? Just English, okay. I just have to check because comp lit majors are slightly different. So it looks like you're all English. It's funny that you're just saying that you're English. It sounds like you're all from England, which would be kind of fun. In any case, welcome to English major orientation. It's nice to see you all, or see all your little black boxes or your icons. My name is Erin Hollis. Yes, it's okay. You don't have to turn your cameras on. You can if you want. So my name is Erin Hollis. I'm the Director of Undergraduate Studies and an Associate Professor in the Department of English, Comparative Literature, and Linguistics. You can call me Erin, Dr. Hollis, or Professor Hollis. I'm the main advisor for undergraduate students, and I'm always happy to help. And I specialize in 20th century literature and popular culture. And my favorite authors are Virginia Woolf and James Joyce. So my contact info is right here. My email is ehollis@fullerton.edu. That's a good way to reach me. And then to make appointments with me, you can go to calendly.com/ehollis. This is for appointments during the summer, right? So just so you know, in the fall, there will be in-person advising, and I'll still be doing some online Zoom advising as well. So if you can't always come up to campus, you can make those appointments too. I'm the only advisor for the summer. So if you need advising during the summer and it's related to your major, you should reach out to me. In the fall, there will be 3 other advisors, and you can go to any advisor where we all know the same stuff and we all can help you. This is my dog, Ducky. He's very sweet and sometimes makes an appearance in my Zooms. So, and so does my cat. You might hear him. This is his active time of the day. So I wanted to start with a question, and if you don't feel comfortable speaking up, you can always put something in the chat. So why did you pick English as a major? What was the reasoning why you picked it? And any reason is fine. To become a high school teacher, you've always enjoyed reading and writing, nice. Anything else? You love creative writing. I'm going to talk about the creative writing minor that we have as well, which might be of interest to you. Anything else? High school teacher and you love writing, nice. You love to tell stories and take people on an adventure with the written word. You've always enjoyed reading and writing, so you wanted to explore that. I've always loved to read since you were younger. Me too. Favorite subject in school, develop your writing skills, career in teaching English. You want to be an English teacher. Yeah, so a lot of it sounds like a lot of you want to be English teachers. It sounds like a lot of you just really love reading and love writing. So you picked a good major if you like reading. And I do think that the classes are really fun. I mean, I teach in the department. I teach a lot of different classes, and analyzing books and talking about writing is something that I think is really enjoyable. Anything else? Other reasons why you are attracted to the major? So I have another question for you. When people ask you, when you tell people that you're majoring in English, how do people typically respond? Like, what are some typical responses you get from people when you tell them you're going to major in English? Not the same reaction as other majors. They thought you wanted to be a teacher. That's actually really common, but there's so much other stuff you can do with the English major. Yeah. Anything else? Oh, so you want to be a teacher? Yeah, that's like definitely one of the common things. Wait, you liked English class? Because many people hated their time. That you'll be broke. That's very common. They warn about a lot of reading. They think it's lame. Not very many job opportunities. Yeah, these are pretty common reactions that we get to the English major. They think it's boring. I always tell people when they call something boring that they're not paying attention right. Like if you pay attention correctly, nothing is boring in my opinion. So you just have to pay attention in the right way. But in any case, I'm here to tell you that English is probably one of the most versatile majors. Every year we have an alumni panel where people come back and talk about the different jobs they have. A lot of our majors do become teachers. And honestly, what's wrong with being a teacher? I think it's an amazing thing to do. Obviously, I'm a teacher. High school and junior high school teachers are amazing and very dedicated. We have our former students, one of them works now for Marvel. He did work for Nickelodeon. He worked on producing Legend of Korra, and now he's working on a secret animated show that he hasn't told me about yet because it's top secret. But that's kind of cool. People go into things like marketing, museum work. There's just a huge variety of things that you can do with the major. And it's also a myth that there won't be job opportunities for the major. In fact, English majors statistically make more when they graduate than business majors. So when people tell you have fun working at Starbucks, you can tell them that statistic, that it's actually easier to get a job as an English major, mostly because you can write. So that's my little pep talk to you. I also think majoring in English is about learning how to be a good human and be a kind person. And I think that's really important in our world. Like it's important to know how to treat one another well. I think English majors are thoughtful. Obviously, I'm really biased. I'm an English professor, so that makes me think we have the best majors, but we do. Objectively, we do. In any case, that's my little pep talk for you. Yeah, it does cover many medias and books. Like I love books, I always think reading a book is the chance to figure out something new about my life. You never know what you're going to discover when you read a book, right? So a couple months ago, I read a book about butterflies and I learned butterflies and moths. And I learned that there are moths that drink human tears while people are sleeping. And I decided that's kind of a cool literary thing. So I'm writing a story about a girl who turns into a moth that drinks tears in order to get rid of loneliness of people. So anyway, you never know what you're going to find out when you read, right? Obviously, I'm a huge dork for the things I read about because I love it. All right, so moving on, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the major. Basically, there are two pathways in the major that you can take if you're an English major, right? One is what I might call the general major, which is if you don't want to teach high school or junior high after you graduate. The other is called the SMPP or the SSPP or sometimes the SSMP. So any combination of those letters is the same thing. And that's the pathway towards the credential, which I'll explain to you in more detail once we get there. So there's basically two paths. As first year students, you don't have to decide yet. In fact, in your first year, you're mostly going to be taking GE classes because most of our English major classes are upper division. I'll talk to you about some classes you can take maybe in your first year if you've satisfied some of the earlier requirements for the university. So does that make sense that there's basically these two paths that I'm going to go over? I hope so. All right, so basically, as I said, there's the English major requirements versus the English education requirements. And one thing to know is if you follow the English education requirements, you will meet the requirements for the major. So if you plan to earn your credential after you graduate, always follow the English education requirements and not the general major, because you'll take extra classes accidentally. So again, most of these classes you won't take in your first year. And if you don't remember everything that I say to you today, it's okay. You can always make an appointment with me. You can always email me. You can always come see another advisor, and we can help you each semester, right? So you don't have to remember everything. This is a general overview. So if you start to feel overwhelmed, don't freak out, okay? Because this is a lot of information I'm about to throw down on you. And I know how it can be overwhelming. All right, so for the general English major, it's 42 units. It is made up of several different categories, right? The first one is foundational courses. The ones that are listed as foundational courses are courses that you might take earlier rather than later. But again, notice that they're 300 level. So these would be classes you'd probably wait to take until at least your second year, maybe your third year. So just something to think about. And I'll talk to you more about what these courses are in a minute. Right now, I'm just giving a general overview. Then you also have to do 2 survey courses. The survey courses that you can do are both 200 and 300. So if you wanted to do a course earlier, like an English major course this year, these perhaps could be some of the ones you might do. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a minute. You also have to do English 315 or 317. These are Chaucer or Milton. And then 303 or 305. These are basically language classes. And 3 period genre criticism courses, including one prior to 1800, which I'll talk to you about more in a minute. 3 elective courses. At the university, there's 2 different kinds of electives. There's your general electives that meet units to get to 120 units. Then there's your major electives. These are major electives. So you need 3 electives for English. And I'll give you more detail about that in a minute as well. And then you have to do a senior seminar, which obviously you do your senior year. And you can do it, I recommend either in your second to last semester or your last semester. Now I'm going to show you what the English Ed requirements are, and you'll see how they're slightly different, but they fulfill the requirements for the major. So for the SMPP, which is a pathway that you follow that helps you to apply to the credential program, that is something you do after you graduate. You take a lot of the same classes, but the difference is your electives are chosen for you. You don't do a senior seminar, and you do English 302 instead of 307. So you still have those same you still have those same foundational courses, except one is English 302. So you'll note on the previous page, it's 307. You have to do 3 surveys instead of 2 surveys. And additionally, you have to do 1 comp lit survey. You still have to do Chaucer and Milton. You have to do both English 303 and 305. And then you still do the same 3 period genre criticism courses. And instead of doing a senior seminar, you would do English 434, which counts as your senior seminar. And then there's some additional courses that are listed that don't count for the major, but are important for doing so that you can avoid having to take a test. So basically the difference between the general major and this pathway is more specific and has less choice for you. So if you want to earn your credential, you should follow the second one. So I'm going to show you our advising sheets to give you more specific information. And I'm going to show you how to get there as well. Does anyone have any questions while I'm going to this spot? Any questions? I know that as I said, I know that's a lot of information to throw at you all at once. Again, you don't have to remember everything. After I go through all of this, I'm going to tell you the most important things you need to remember for early on in your college career. All right, so to find the advising sheets and to find information about the English department, you go to english.fullerton.edu. You can find a lot of different information here, including Here's all the faculty, and you can find out things about our research interests. There's me with my big shiny forehead. So yeah, I should change that picture. And if you want to find out advising stuff, you would click on advising. And then if you're an undergraduate major, you go to English right here. And this page has a number of helpful things on it. It changes every semester, so it's good to look at, and it will change at the beginning of each semester. Right now, I'm the only advisor, so it has information about how to contact me. It also has some frequently asked questions that you can go through. They're probably more helpful later on in your college career. And then it will have the office hours of the advisors at the time. There's only me right now because I'm all advising on my own. And it has the times I'm available. This is how you can make an appointment with me. And then at the bottom are the advising worksheets. So if you click on them, it will open the worksheets, which I'm going to do in a second. So I'll do the English major one. This one, unfortunately, doesn't have a PDF, so I have to open it slightly differently. Can you see the English major sheet, or is it still on the advising page? Can you see something that says academic advisement worksheet? Okay, thank you. Let me do new share so I can show you this. Now, can you see it? Awesome. All right, so this is the advising sheet if you're a general major, right? And it has all of the information about what I just talked to you about, but it's more specific. So you'll see, here's your introductory survey courses, and then they'll be listed down here below. The prerequisite for all of our classes, you have to at least have taken English 101. So in your first year, if you took AP English 101, or you took something that counts for that, you could take a survey course. Or if you took a survey course, if you take English 101 in the fall, you could do a survey course in the spring if you wanted to. So these are classes that are okay to take early. And then again, I went over these foundational courses earlier. As you're going, English 300 is our introductory course. I know that seems weird because it's 300 level, but it's because we have a number of transfer students. So this is a good class to take earlier. You can even take it in your second year. I wouldn't take it in your first year though. And then again, we have the major author elective, which I kind of went over, and that's listed down here as well. The critical language studies requirement, the period genre criticism requirement, and those courses are all listed right here. One thing to know, and again, if you don't remember this, it's okay. Don't take these all in the same semester, right? Because they're challenging. And then finally, your 3 electives. We have a number of electives in the department, and they're all listed on the second page. And you can look here and see what you're interested in. Just so you know, these aren't always all offered every semester. And some of them aren't offered at all anymore for different reasons, but some are. So if you see a class being offered and you really want to take it, that's an elective that doesn't meet the other requirements, I say jump on it. And then finally, you have the senior seminar. So that's the general advising, English advising sheet. Sorry. To go back, so that was this sheet right here. And that's what I clicked on, and it will download a form. Does anyone have any questions about that? Again, I know it's a lot of information, but you can go on there and print it out, and it will make more information, make more sense to you. Any questions though? I don't usually talk this much when I teach because I do a lot of discussions and my throat is starting to hurt. All right, so if you want to follow the pathway to the credential, or what's called the SMPP, you would look at this one, right? And you should also be getting advising from the Center for Careers in Teaching, because they'll have some specific things to tell you as well. But importantly for you, your first year, these are not classes that count for the major, but they are required for the SMPP. So you might when you choose your public speaking course, make sure you get one of these, and then you could do a theater course. By the way, this is a typo, it should say 160. And then you'll see as you go through this, those changes I detailed to you about how it's slightly different from the major, but still fulfills the requirements for the major will be outlined here. So instead of taking 2 surveys, you take 3. You have to do a complet survey. You do English 302. You have to do both 303 and 305. 434 is your senior seminar. Still have to do Shakespeare. You still have to do Chaucer or Milton. You still have to do all the period genre criticism courses. And then there's these collateral education courses that aren't required for the major again, but if you take them, you don't have to take the CSET, which is a really hard test that is you can avoid by doing these classes. So if you want to teach high school or junior high and earn that credential after you graduate, you should follow this sheet. If you want to not do that, you should follow the other sheet. However, you do not need to decide yet, right? You can, especially right now, you can sort of think about it. And then when you're starting to take your major courses, you don't have to make a decision until you decide whether or not you're going to take English 302 or 307. So you can put off your decision. When I was your age, I didn't know what I wanted to do. In fact, I was a theater major and I changed my 3rd year. So you don't have to know, right? I don't think we should push you to know either. So that's kind of the majors, the 2 paths in the major in a nutshell. Do you have any questions about those? Again, I'm sorry, I know I just vomited information onto you, and it was a lot, and I'm happy to clarify anything. I'm going to give time in case someone has a question they're typing. So GEs are different, and I'm only advising you for major advising. So GEs are something that you'll have to get advising through the Academic Advising Center. And your first year, you're mostly going to be doing GEs. There are a few GEs that are on the SMPP sheet that are at the top, the theater class, the HCOM classes, those do count for your GEs. So you might want to select from that list when you're meeting that requirement. That'll make more sense when you go to register, when you get that registration assistance. But basically, you get 2 kind of 3 kinds of advising at the university. You get your major advising, which is someone like me, usually a professor, telling you how to fulfill the requirements for the major. And then you get the GE advising, which is how to fulfill requirements for the GE. And then there's also minor advisors. So if you minor in something, you need to go to them if they're in a different department. And then as well, we have the HNSS Student Success Center, and they can help you with a lot of things like general advising questions too. So there's a lot of little places that you can go. If you're ever lost about where you need to go, you can always email me and I can direct you to where is the appropriate place to go. I don't mind, especially because when you're first starting, it can be somewhat difficult to navigate the university. And I'm happy to help you do that. Sure. All right, so I have a little bit more detail to share with you about the department. If you think of any questions as we're going, feel free to put them in the chat. So we do have 2 new minors. They're new about a couple years ago. We have the creative writing minor and the comp lit minor. So one really cool thing to know is that you can do a creative writing minor or a comp lit minor, and 3 classes from your major can double count for the minor. So each of these minors is 21 units, which would be 7 classes. So you'd actually only have to take 4 additional classes to add a creative writing minor or a comp lit minor. So if you're really someone who loves writing and you want to kind of have that as a side thing, that goes with your major, I really recommend doing the creative writing minor. And then comp lit is kind of like global literature or world literature, and you study things outside of British and American a little bit more. And so if you want that sort of broadening, comp lit would be a really good minor. The advising sheets for the creative writing minor and the comp lit minor are in the same spot where I showed you the English major advising sheets, so you can look at the requirements there. To declare a minor, there's a form you have to fill out, and if you want to do that, you can always email me and I'll direct you how to do it. Any questions about that? My throat is getting really sore. All right, if you have any questions, again, feel free to email me. I can answer them about the minors. We have several department clubs, and this is something to think about as you go throughout your career. So Sigma Tau Delta is the English Honor Society. I was president of it when I was an undergrad a long, long time ago, before y'all were probably born. We also have the Creative Writing Club. The Creative Writing Club does a number of different really cool events, and sometimes a lot of published authors come. We have the Acacia group. That's really a grad student group, but if you're interested later in going to grad school, it's a good group to be a part of. And then we also have the Science Fiction and Fantasy Club. So there are clubs that you can get involved with on campus that I really encourage you to do. We also have a number of department scholarships. The application is due every spring, so look for that. In your student portal, there will be a little place where you can go and it will match you to scholarships you're eligible for. We actually have quite a bit of money in the department to give out to students. One of our scholarships is $20,000 that we divide among the applicants. It's based on financial need, but not the financial need as determined by the FAFSA. So if the FAFSA says you have too much money, we still give you money based on your particular situation. I'm the chair of the Scholarship and Awards Committee for the department this year. So if you have any question about the scholarships in the spring, you can always email me. There's quite a few of them. Just look for notifications about them in the spring. Okay. Also, if you're interested in working on campus, the Writing Center is a really good place to think about working. You have to have some classes from the English department before you can work there. So this would be something you might want to do a little bit later in your career. But especially if you want to go on to teach at a community college or be a college professor, the Writing Center is a really good idea because it gives you experience that will be very valuable. All right, so there's my contact info again. My email, ehollis@fullerton.edu. I don't answer email every day during the summer because I do have limited hours, but I answer as quickly as I can, usually within 3 days. And then you can make an appointment with me at calendly.com/ehollis. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing and let you ask any questions that you have. How are you all feeling about the fall? Nervous, excited? Is anyone living on campus in the fall? More nervous about registration? There are people that can help you with registration. Did you get the information about that? I'm not one of the ones that helps with registration, but you can get assistance. Nervous and excited, yeah. So you feel a little bit better, that's good. If you ever feel, even though the first year you don't really see very many of your English faculty and it can kind of feel like you're distant from your major, but if you ever feel like you need help or you're kind of feeling lost, you can always come by and see me. My office is Gordon Hall 404, and I will be on campus 3 days a week, and you can come see if I'm around. I'm more than happy to help. And if you're feeling like you need anything, do feel free to come by and see me because I know it can be overwhelming at first. So I'm happy to do that. Oops, I sent that to one person. Let me put that again. Um, so I'm happy to help out. Registration, just to demystify it for you, it's kind of like shopping online. So you put everything in a shopping cart and then you check out, right? The scary part, I guess, is picking the classes. And you'll have assistants doing that. Just know that you can always change classes if you need to. So it is, I understand why it's scary, but you'll have help. So don't worry too much, okay? Does anyone have any other questions or anything they want to ask? Oh, is anyone living on campus in the fall? Just a curious question. If you are, I used to be the faculty in residence over there, so I know a lot about campus, so I can give you tips and tricks about certain things. Alex, yes, it should be available somewhere. I'm not sure where because I'm not in charge of that. But if you email me, I can find that information for you, okay? And again, my email is ehollis@fullerton.edu. And I'll make sure you get that recording. I think they're going to put it on the website somewhere. We don't do 4-year plans exactly. That would be more something that you would need to meet one-on-one with someone about because our majors are so diverse and their paths are so different that we don't have like a specific plan right like that. I don't know, Ethan. Actually, I don't live there anymore, but and sometimes they can be kind of slow. So don't freak out. I didn't mean to freak you out. Um, I was just curious. I used to live on campus. I was there all the time. I had a book club even, and I gave away free books. The classes you would take with the creative writing minor, there are 3 required classes, which are beginning creative writing, intermediate creative writing, and advanced creative writing. Then you have to take sort of an analysis class, which would be met by any requirements from the major. Then you also have to do a contemporary literature class, and then you get 2 electives. And they need to be English classes, right? So, sure. The creative writing minor has proven to be quite popular, by the way. So it's a lot of people want to do it. Does anyone else have any other questions? All right, so if you do think of any questions that you do have, I don't know about the journalism minor. That would be a question for communications. You can go ask them. So if you do think of any questions that you have in the meantime, you can always email me or make an appointment. Again, your first year, it's mostly going to be classes outside of the major. So don't let that make you feel disconnected from our department. We're there for you. You can come see us, right? And with that, I think I'm done. And I hope you all have a great rest of your day and that you feel welcome when you come to Cal State Fullerton. Again, feel free to come see me. I'm happy to say hi. I hope you all have a great day.